ever felt like you've transcended into a deeper consciousness? Well, today we have expert in transcendental meditation and integrative medicine, Lisa Bertuccio. So, Lisa, thanks for being with us today.
Hi, Lisa. Nice to see you.
Hi, how are you? Thanks. Thanks for having me on.
So, tell us, I know you do Ayurvedic medicine and all different types of things. You want to tell us a little bit about what you do, first of all?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a board certified integrative health practitioner, board certified holistic health practitioner, and a nationally board certified health and wellness coach. So that was from the American Board of Medical Examiners, put that test out yeah. So
Great.
I do that. So yeah. So my practice is both, it's twofold. So it's the integrative health part where I do the lab testing and we get into the whole mind body connection. And then the health and wellness part of it is habit change, motivational interviewing, behavioral change theories, and I try to combine them both into one practice because they kind of go hand in hand, you know.
Sure.
And you're,
I think everybody froze.
I think we're frozen. We're frozen. Can you hear us?
You froze. Oh, wait, you're back.
So I was just going to ask.
I was transcending, wait.
We gotta get to that. Don't disappear on us yet.
Right.
So I was going to ask, the people that you work with, your clients, your patients, is there, a specific age group that you work with, or does it just run the gamut?
The primary group of clients that I work with are women, moms, because I can relate. I have 5 kids and, I can relate. Mostly premenopausal in the 40s. I'm 46, so I kind of deal with women around my age, and children because I'm a mom and it's easy for another mother to come to me to talk to me about their children.
Mhm.
So yes, that's pretty much the age group, but I have men, I have older men, older women, younger women, they all come.
And you meet with your clients once a week, or do you meet with them? How does that work?
Okay, so for the integrative health part of it,
Yeah.
that's usually once a month, but they have access to me all month long, all in between. And for the health and wellness section, part of the practice, it's like every 2 weeks
Okay.
because it's habit change and you want to make sure that they're on track.
All right. So talk to us then about the transcendental meditation and how we can dive deeper into a different consciousness or raise our consciousness level, which is what we're all about.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
Yes. So part of the protocols that I use, so it's taught by Dr. Cabral, and he has a main protocol. It's the de-stress protocol. And part of the protocol is stress management, rest and reset, success mindset, and it also incorporates Ayurveda. So I really enjoyed that section of the education that I got about Ayurveda, but I wanted to dive deeper into it. So I was looking for like courses that I could maybe learn more about and bring that aspect of like that modality into more of my practice and incorporate more into my wellness protocols. So I went on a search for it and I found um, Maharishi International University. It's like the only university in the US that is accredited for Ayurveda to be an Ayurvedic consultant. So I looked into it and one of the requirements in order to get into the school, to join the school is you have to take part in transcendental meditation.
Mhm.
So that kind of intrigued me because I kind of heard a little bit about it. I've been meditating since I was 19. Had social anxiety. I was like a nervous wreck kid, like
Oh.
biting my nails, the whole nine. So I started doing that to try to alleviate some of that anxiety. I would stutter if I had to give a public speech, like it was horrible. So that kind of helped me. And I was on the course to be a teacher, so I kind of needed that.
Yeah.
So I was familiar with with meditation in general, but the transcendental meditation seemed really foreign, almost culty, honestly, at first.
I have to just stop you. I'm so impressed and I'm blown away to hear that that was a requirement, like a prerequisite to you getting into the course to study Ayurveda, because
great.
it's such a deep study to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, there's a lot to learn.
A lot. So, and I'm not even fully deep into it as I'd like to be, but it is, so the school itself is conscious-based learning. That's their thing. They don't, it's not, it's a traditional model because it's, it's an accredited university, but they believe in conscious-based learning. So, yeah, so I went ahead and I actually contacted a TM teacher, and it was a weird story how that happened.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
Right.
The only one in the what's that?
She's the only one. What?
She's the only one in the Hudson Valley that
Okay.
does it.
Okay.
So she does it out of a hotel so that she can get people from all over. So of course my husband's like, what do you mean you're going to learn how to meditate in a hotel? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm coming with you. Like, yeah. But so yeah, so she taught me how to do it, and I can't really get into it because it's not that it's secretive, but it's kind of it's individual to each person. And she gave me a mantra, and the mantras for the TM are, yeah, so it's not like a regular meditation. So you're not like thinking of a particular object. You're giving a word or a word that has no meaning. So you're not associating it with something so that you're able to do this meditation anywhere. Yeah, so I was skeptical,
Okay.
but I'm here talking to you, and I did a speech at the expo, and I had no anxiety.
That's awesome.
Oh, good.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah. You seem very relaxed.
Yeah, it was like it really like I went into this thinking, okay, whatever. And I walked out like my son the next morning's like, you're not yelling at me to go to get up. I'm like, I feel so good.
So did you change your practice? Did you change your meditation practice once you, yeah.
Oh yeah. So I went from just doing it irregularly, just whenever I could, to now doing it twice a day for 20 minutes. And
Wow.
yeah, it doesn't take long to do it. And you just feel a sense of calm, like you're one with your own self.
Yeah, you just connect, right? You connect, you align, and you allow your higher self to come in and just, you get quiet, right? Turn off all the noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once that happens, then as we know.
Yeah. So do you do this with you do this with your clients?
Yeah, so now that I've learned it, anytime I have a client, I recommend them to seek out a TM teacher and do it because I don't I practice what I preach basically. So I'm not going to tell somebody to go do something if I haven't done it myself and I know that it works.
Right.
The same thing with any of the supplements that I or anything. I don't want them, I'm standing by my own products or my own business. I don't want to tell somebody to go do something that I don't feel or believe in.
So Lisa, how did you get on this path?
So, okay, so I had 4 kids and we were trying for number 5 and it was not happening. So, I was 35, so they were telling me, "Oh, you're geriatric."
Right.
What do you mean I'm geriatric? Yeah. I'm 35, I'm not geriatric. And they're like, no, you're geriatric and you probably won't be able to have another baby because, you're perimenopausal. So I decided to take matters into my own hands and I did my own testing and I did my own stress reduction methods. And 3 months after starting it on my own, I got pregnant with my daughter. So
Oh, great.
that's how I,
Terrific.
yeah, yeah.
And were you so prior to that, your practice and what you did on your day to day was the holistic and medicine and wellness
Right. And
and integrative
Yes.
medicine. So, and how long had you been doing that?
What's that?
When did you start on that path? How long have you been doing integrative medicine?
so as a practice, about 2 years.
Okay.
But prior to that, my daughter's 4, so almost 5. Yeah.
So it all started then.
And
It all started with her.
Oh, wow. That's
She was the
interesting.
beginning of a lot. Yeah.
Right, so that was meant to be, right? And
Yeah.
that came in all with her.
Yeah.
That is interesting. So can you give us some
Yeah.
tips or, give people some, I don't know, something on how they can do the transcendental meditation or anything you want to share with them that would help, raise, because we're all about raising the consciousness, right? And now's the time that we have to do that on this earth.
So
Yeah.
whatever you can.
So I'll give you the analogy. Yeah, so I'll give you the analogy so people can understand exactly what TM is. You think of an ocean, right? Think of the ocean as the water of the ocean as consciousness.
Mhm.
Okay. So you got the top of the ocean, it's the waves, right? That's our everyday perception, right? And then you go a little bit lower below the ocean. There's still water there, there's still consciousness there, but it's a little bit more quieter, not so much action. Right? That's the level of our um, intellect, where we are thinking about high functioning thinking, say, right? You get a little bit lower into the ocean. You get to the feelings part, where our minds are a little bit more quiet and it's more of an internal, think of like love. You can't really explain it, but you know it's there. And then you get to the bottom of the ocean and it's just stillness. And that's the level of transcending, the bottom of the ocean, where the that's where the thoughts, according to TM, is is where it resides. Your thoughts reside at the bottom of the ocean, and then they bubble up to the surface where the waves are. So when you're in TM, when you're doing TM and you're in that state, you try to get to that level where there's no thoughts. You're just there at the bottom of the ocean with engulfed in your own consciousness. And like I said, that's where thoughts originate from, according to TM and Maharishi, and then it bubbles up to the surface. So the premise is if you're able to stay at that bottom of the ocean for, enough, like if you practice it long enough, you'll be at that state even at the top of the.
Hi, Deb and I just wanted to take a minute and say thank you for watching. We hope that you're enjoying our guests, and we wanted to say please remember to subscribe below, like us, send us a comment.
And let us know if there's anybody you want to hear from, and we'll try to get them on. All the time, right? You carry
it's
it
easy
into.
enough to connect
Right.
to. That's great.
Yeah.
Right.
I do a lot of analogies. So like the analogy for that would basically be like if you took a piece of like white cloth and you dipped it in a vat of like red dye and then you put it outside to dry, it might get a little pink. So then you take it, you put it back in, and then you put it back outside. And the longer you do it, the more that red dye is going to show on the cloth. Right. So our perception would then be more out of pure consciousness the longer you do TM, because our thoughts bubble up to the surface, and if we do it often enough, our inside our pure consciousness would be our perception of the environment.
Beautiful. Beautifully
Yeah,
said, by the
that
way.
is, yeah.
So have you been successful getting your kids to buy in? And I have kids, so I'm
So my husband was the biggest skeptic.
Right. Usually they are. Right.
And I made him do it. And he's like, wow. He's like my guinea pig for everything. I make him do it all. And he's like, wow. He says, I noticed a change in you. Not that I'm not like a crazy mom, but you're dealing with everyday stresses from having a business, dealing with children, and you kind of like forget to kind of stay centered and,
Yeah, it's easy to get knocked out of your center all day long, right?
yeah, and you get tired and you start getting frustrated at the so I realized like he noticed, the kids noticed, like I was just kind of like chill mom, like okay, it's fine. We'll just handle it. So he took it up, and then I had my other son who he's not diagnosed as ADHD, but he's just we always say he's like in the
Active.
clouds. Like he
Mhm.
just loves to just do what he loves. And it has helped him. It brought him to have this nice, like even not evenness, like this gentleness that he can focus more. And it's a pretty amazing thing. And because it's so simple to do and it only takes like 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night, there's really no excuse for anybody not to be able to fit it into their schedule. So
I agree.
Right.
I agree. And everybody can benefit from learning stillness and getting
course.
still. You
Right.
know, even if they're not realizing how they're connecting, just
Mhm.
getting still, just
Being
just comes out
quiet.
into everything else they're doing and changes the game. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. I'd love to talk
Yeah,
a little bit about
absolutely.
your practice within integrative medicine and how you work with people. What do they come to you for? Are they just looking to make life overall healthier and better, or are they coming there with specific challenges,
Right.
or ailments that they're looking for you to work with?
yeah, so a majority of my clients are women. A lot of them are perimenopausal. They're dealing with moodiness. They're dealing with irregular periods. They're dealing with just the stresses of life and hormonal imbalances that they're not really getting answers from their doctors. They're just kind of like brushed off that, oh, you're perimenopausal. Like I was with well, you're geriatric, so there's nothing really we can do for you. So yeah, so they usually come to me after they've exhausted all of the conventional medical routes, and they're still
That's the case
walking
usually.
out of their doctor's office feeling like crap, and they just want answers. They just want to feel better. So I start off with it's a whole body approach. It's not just give me your medical records, let me look at it, and then here's what you're going to have to take. It's take into consideration their lifestyle, their exercise routine, if they even exercise, their nutrition, their diet, their living situation, their entire environment. And then we go into the lab testing. So we'll determine which labs you need because most conventional medicine does not offer cortisol levels or
Yeah, it does not do a complete makeup.
Right.
It doesn't.
A lot of
doesn't-
your
right.
hormones aren't
They're just
yeah.
fixing symptoms. They're
Yeah.
not getting to the root of anything, right?
Exactly. And that's where I come in and I'm trying to find the root cause of what is really happening inside of you. And once we discover that root cause, we're able to work from the inside out and use your environment, use stress reduction techniques to help bring you back to balance, to bring you back to calm.
Are you giving them eating plans or making recommendations on food choice changes? Are you
Supplements. all
using
that, right?
supplements?
Yeah, so part of the protocol, it's an individualized protocol. So like your protocol won't be the same as her protocol because your biology, your physiology is different than her physiology. Your lifestyle is different. Your stress is different. So yeah, I mean, not many people have 5 kids to pull their hair out. But yeah, so once I get your data and I get your lifestyle and I get everything, that's when I put together what supplements you might be missing. Like, so one of the things is what minerals are you imbalanced in? How can we correct your hormones naturally? What food you can eat that will correct your hormones? A lot of people forget that like food is medicine.
Sure.
We can use that to our benefit before we go popping a pill. And so I take all of that into consideration. And I also, because I really love Ayurveda, I have everybody fill out their Ayurvedic dosha um, test to see where you're at. Because if you are someone like me who's a Vata and I don't like cold. I have anxieties. I have stomach issues. I'm not going to put those type of foods in my body that's going to aggravate that dosha. Or if you're a pizza and you are fiery, you sweat a lot, you're emotional, like you're prone to depression and that type of stuff. I'm not going to put spicy foods in your protocol because you're just going to exasperate what you've already got going on. So
Right.
it's customizable to everything. And like I said, I use different modalities to try to customize the wellness protocols.
That's great.
And I bet the people, were you going to say?
No, I was just going to. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the Ayurveda stuff because for people that don't know, right? Like there are different. What is there 3? I forget.
Yeah, so there's 3: Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Vata is air, Pitta is fire, and Kapha is earth, water. So you think of kapha as more like grounding. They're typically bigger boned. Um they're just grounded. And then you have the vata, who is the high energy, the ones that are prone to the anxiety. And then you have pitta. Those are more muscular types, more in between. It has nothing to do with like your weight or anything like that. It's just you could kind of tell somebody who's got a little broader shoulders or maybe a little wider hip. That would be more of a pizza type. So yeah, it's wonderful because then you can learn more about what is triggering you, not
Based on
just
what you
hormones or
yeah. And then you treat it that
And
way,
there's
right?
lots-
And a lot of it is the diet, right? With the
A lot of it's the
yeah,
diet,
the
it's the
diet.
foods, it's healing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they use a lot of herbs in Ayurveda to help heal. You use turmeric for inflammation. Pitas are prone to inflammation, so you would use more of the turmeric and the ginger in their diets. And it's a lot of information and it's a lot of customization, and that's what is missing from most conventional medicine. It's the customization, which is what
Conventional medicine and even just our lifestyles with eating, with the way that we approach food in this country. First of all, we have so many options, right? So there's so many delicious things, but we don't recognize that food is medicine. And
Sure, right.
when we were little kids, they said you are what you eat. Well, you are, right? But we don't appreciate that as much as Ayurveda and other parts of the world, what they're studying. So I think it's awesome that you're bringing that to your clients and in conjunction with everything else that you're doing for them. I bet there are a lot of people that you work with that are coming to you because their hormones are off or because they're perimenopausal, but they have other ailments in their body that they probably are seeing disappear once they get their systems right with your work.
Exactly. Yeah, well, that's the whole point. You want to balance your body. You want to balance your hormones. You want to balance diet. You want to balance lifestyle. So everything's within balance.
And that reminds me that I didn't say you're listening to Balance Your Life podcast, our evolving
Balance Your Life
consciousness.
podcast.
That's right. Everything we try to do is about balance. Everything from our events to our podcasts to our
You want to maintain that homeostasis, right? Balance.
If you could give advice to women out there who are entering that stage of their life where the bodies are changing and the hormones are raging and just generally, what would you say to a woman entering that not knowing what to do and what to expect?
Yeah, so trust your body, trust your intuition. We don't give ourselves enough credit for that, and no, and I know like the self-care is like a big thing, but it matters. It really matters. Especially as women, we take on a lot. We're taking on the role of caregiver to not just the children, but your spouse, your extended family, your home, so take that time to actually take care of yourself, because it's like that whole airplane thing. You got to put the mask on yourself before you could save other people.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Yes.
capacity to be have to. So I would
We
tell them
know
to
it.
But how many of us do it? That's the,
right,
yeah.
but we actually implement it.
Right, take the time.
And we don't because of guilt.
It's the last thing we have time for.
And would you recommend to women to pick up a book or to look for a holistic practitioner? Of course, they should all look for you. But those that are seeing us elsewhere or hearing us elsewhere,
Yeah.
you know, what course should they take? Should they look for integrative medicine? Start looking into their food? What do you think?
Yeah, so if you have concerns and you're not being heard from your doctor, go talk to a integrative health practitioner like myself. Talk to a functional medicine doctor. There are options out there. There's also a myriad of books that you can. I actually have one here. It's called The Rain Barrel Effect by Dr. Cabral. It's amazing what we don't know what we don't know. So go out and read the books. There's a whole bunch of podcasts. Your podcast, I'm sure, offers a plethora of information for women, you know? So yeah, there's blogs. I just started a Facebook community for women to gather and talk about anything that's going on that they may need advice, offer free advice. You know, visit other websites, visit other practitioners.
It's there. You just
Ask
gotta
the
look,
questions.
right? Yes.
Right. I think it's great that you started a blog for that and have a place where people can share, because it's a time in your life where there's so many things happening. Sometimes you're not aware of it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you know you're.
It goes by so fast.
Yeah, it goes by. You have to make. Well, not really.
Yeah.
When you're in it, it feels like it's
Right,
forever.
oh, that's
so
true,
yeah,
true.
but you know, there's
Yeah.
decisions and just the awareness. So I think everybody should reach out to Lisa and
Yeah,
you know, be able
that'd
to
be
see
great.
because you know
Yeah.
you're going about it
No,
in so
absolutely.
many ways
That's
that are great towards the healing and taking care of the whole and the meditation and the grounding and the medicine, the Ayurvedic approach, and so
Yeah.
anyway,
I think it's
it's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing all that
It's
with
been
us.
great.
It's amazing.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Good work, Lisa.
Yeah.
Enjoy that little one, by the way.
Right.
I am. She's in school right now.
So you're taking time for yourself.
That's
There you go.
I'm self-caring.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Lisa, thanks so much again. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
And we'll see you next time.